I'd like to take a moment now and introduce our guest speaker for today. She's one of our favorite friends here at CLF, and she's one of my favorite friends and colleagues, Rev.Kathryn McDowell. Rev.Kathryn began attending the First Church of Religious Science in our very own building right here. And she's been teaching and speaking the message of Science of Mind for 34 years in Arizona, California, and New Mexico. She loves teaching and talking about the spiritual journey with people from diverse ages, backgrounds, and studies. It is now my pleasure to welcome our friend, Rev.Kathryn McDowell.
Oh, hello there. Are you on a journey today, too? Doesn't it feel lately like we're on a big journey with a lot of different pathways there before us? The one directly behind us, the one to the right, the one to the left, the one way back there, sneaky one around the bend. And we ask ourselves, shall I stay put? Shall I take someone with me? Shall I leave someone behind? So many ways we take our journeys through life. Sometimes we're invited. Sometimes we're pushed. Sometimes we're kicking and screaming. Sometimes we crawl on our hands and feet for years. And then one day we arrive at that place that we think is where we belonged, that we thought was so much better, and that wasn't it. That wasn't it. And so we whine and we cry like a kitty does. A kitty stuck in a tree. You ever been stuck in a tree? Feel like I have sometimes, but not truly so. And so what we're talking about today is this journey that we are on, this pathway that we turn, this place where we think is ours. It's for us to be there. And so we do everything we can to make it into that place. And then something happens. Something changes. Oh, maybe it's us. Maybe we're the ones who change. Maybe we're the ones who suddenly decide, this is lovely. I like it here. It's very interesting. I'm glad I came. I'm out of here. What is it about this journey that makes us do that? And why do we think that we are always taking the road less traveled? A lot of people travel the same roads we do. We're not alone. Even when we try to be alone, we are not alone. So what is it about the journeying? What is it about that which calls us into something new? That which pushes us out of something else? And what about those beautiful beings who share the journey with us? And we think, oh, these are my people. This is my tribe. This is how I'm going to do this. I have found it. And then it changes. And it's probably them. They did it. They are who they said they were. They aren't doing what they said they would. And what am I going to do now that they are in that place? That they took my spot? I don't want to talk to them anymore. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. Where did they learn that? Where did they get that idea? We didn't talk about that in our last group. Have you heard all of those comments? I'll bet you have. I'll bet some have made those comments. Here I am, raising my hand. Are you? What is it about companions when we think we must go it alone? And then when we are hungering for the space of someone to be with us, and yet we won't let them in. It's a very odd life we live, isn't it? It's a place where we ask on a day-to-day basis, is this who I am supposed to be? Are these the people that I am to be with? And what is it we are to do together? Now and then, we even ask the question, what is the journey? For me, the journey is one foot in front of the other. Oh, there's places I want to go and things I want to do and things that I have done and places that I have been. And you know what? Every single one of them was one foot in front of the other. And the people that I passed along the way, whether they were dear and precious friends or family, whether they were an anomaly to anything else that I had ever known, if I spend all of my time wondering who they are, why they're here, I'm just making up stories in my own head about them. I'm just in that place of trying to uncover a solution and answer to something that needs neither one. It's the journey. It's the one foot in front of the other. It's the one breath after the next. And why is it that the people on our journeys remain so foreign to us? Can we start looking at them and see their magnificence, or are we only disappointed because they aren't what we expected them to be? Well, golly, I thought if I came to this place, it would look this way. Oh, why didn't you just draw it with a coloring book and make it the way you wanted that way? The journey, the going, the seeking, the searching, the being open to what I've never seen before. Now, that sounds really nice when it comes to visioning, when it comes to setting your course's direction, when it comes to that place of, okay, this is what I want to do. But what about when we turn that corner up there and we come upon something that we hadn't planned on, didn't want, don't understand, wish would go away? Oh, golly, kind of like the last 6 months, huh? Kind of like that place where everything that we ever thought we knew has gone away, fallen apart, changed, shifted, yanked out from under us. And we wonder, and what else will be taken away from me? What is the next part? Have you ever gone on a trip and had absolutely nothing go wrong? You didn't drop your coins in the wrong place. They didn't change your reservations. You didn't have a flat tire. The car didn't overheat. They didn't have what you wanted in that restaurant. Of course, we've had those things in every journey, whether we're just going down the street or driving across country or around the world. And it's our expectations of the way we think it should be, what we think it should be. Now, I don't want to go all the way around the world to find something like exactly what I left at home. Could have saved money, could have stayed at home, could have, gotten easier sleeping in my own bed. I want to see something different. And then the emotional part of me wants to understand it too. Well, there are some things we cannot understand, especially if we've not been exposed to them, especially if we've not been willing to see them before. And we struggle so with it ourselves and with other people. Why aren't you what I expected you to be? Whether it be a spouse, whether it be a child, a roommate, whether it be a teacher, an employer, a politician, pick 'em, pick 'em, pick 'em. Why aren't they what we thought they should be? In the reading this morning, it said that if we would take the time to appreciate the distance between us that allows us to see one another whole against the sky. If I'm all the way up with you, how's that? Oh, God. Yeah, I brushed my teeth. Okay, we're good. I can't see the totality of you. I can't see the background that brought you to me. I cannot see your strength, your height, the breadth of who you are. And so I step back a little bit and I see more and more of you. Not with the story I built for myself about who you would be when I got here, but I take a moment and I look at you and I pause and I wonder, who is this? Where have they been? What do they know? When I was a property manager, some of our staff didn't appreciate the older people wanting to tell their stories when the staff member went in to do their work. And they always had unkind things to say about that old duffer or whoever. And one day I took the staff aside and I said, did you know that Mr. So-and-so over in unit such and such that he ran away and joined the circus when he was 14? No, he didn't. Ask him. What about that other fellow in 107? Who do you think he is? Oh, he's just an old guy who ran an apartment complex back in New York. And I said, did you also know that he was an economics professor in Romania when the communists came in and they put him in prison because he was a teacher and they didn't want them to be taught what they'd always been taught? And in the midst of being in the prisoner of war camp, he was on a work furlough and he jumped into the river and swam for 3 days until he got to another country where he could get out safely. And that when he got to New York, this economics professor from the university could only get a job as a maintenance man in a high-rise building. And then something brought him back out here to Arizona. Oh, by the way, did you also know that he left his wife and daughter behind? And he just recently got a letter from her, from his daughter. She found him, and they were going to see one another for the first time in 30 years. Did you ever ask him about those things? Let us love the distance between us that allows us to see one another whole against the sky. As we're going through our particular challenges right now with our pandemic and the wonderful election time frame and all that brings out for us. And we have opinions. Oh my goodness, do we have opinions? We have opinions about ways of being. We have opinions about people's way of speaking. We don't like the shirts that they wear. We don't like how they treat this one and that one. And we get so busy going yum, 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 about what we don't like and what we know to be true that isn't showing up to prove us right. And then we pause and we listen, dropping those filters, letting them go, looking at the pathways that people have come from. Not just did they bring me a lollipop. What is their journey? Who are they? Shall we always see one another only as what we have cast upon them, whether it be a racial thing, whether it be an economic thing, whether it be their standing from their university credentials, or shall we see them as the beautiful, dynamic experience of spirit that they truly are? Because every one of those journeys, they were as much in touch with spirit, whatever they were doing, as you and I are. I love Ernest Holmes' quote at the back of the textbook, one of the meditations. He said that, I have seen the drunk lying in the gutter, and I have seen the saint kneeling in the high altar of his faith. And I have found no difference. I have found no difference because there isn't any that magnificent quality of spirit that lives and dwells inside each one of us. That's what's real. That's what the truth of us really is. That's where we are going with everything that we do. Can we love the things that appear to tear us apart so that we can see one another whole against the sky? That we can spend time in our own soul and our own essence and understanding the magnificence of spirit that is here. And if it's here, it's here and here and here and here and there and you and me. And to see one another as the dynamic essence that we came here to be. Is that possible for us? Can we, in any form or fashion, come to that place of being where that is the reality of who and what we are? I think we can. I think we can. There's a wonderful quote from our beautiful Dr. Holmes. He said, "I awake from my dream of separation. The night has passed. The day is at hand. The spiritual sun is risen, and the dew of heaven glistens, and it glistens with eternal freshness on my path. Today, I am alive, awake, and aware. The phantom of duality, of separation, of lack and want, it's disappeared. It's disappeared. And I proclaim the omni-action of that divine intelligence which guides me today and every day." And he continues and says, we must wake up out of the apathetic sleep of our own delusions, and in the glorious recognition that we are already in the place we aspire toward, all that the Father has is ours right now. Right now. I want to travel this journey with you. I want to go where you go. I want you to go where I go. I want to celebrate what your journey is about and to realize the precious nature of it. If not to me, then to you. I want to relish your growth and enjoyment and your amazement at what you're uncovering. I want you to do the same for me. Walking these pathways, this direction, that direction, another direction. And you know what? We all end up in the same place. Right where we started. There is only one. We say this over and over in my church. There is only one life. That life is God. And I am that. You are that. This day is that. The sun in the sky is that. And when we can live in that atmosphere, our vision changes. Our pathway changes. Long time ago, a psychic was doing palm readings outside of a restaurant. Yes, and I went. And she's looking at my palm and she says, It's very clear that you're on the road, but you're not always on the path, are you? What are we doing? Are we sidestepping? Are we staying the course? In this time with all of us being separated, what a glorious time for us to spend even more time in a silence, in an awakening, in a realization of the goodness of spirit that is in each one of us. Let me travel with you. Oh, won't you please come and travel with me? I feel you there. I feel your energy. I feel your joys, your pains. They're the same as mine are yours. Let us see the greatness that the distances between us allow us to finally see. God bless. Be in peace. Be well. Be open. So it is.